All right. I guess we're getting right into it. Are you ready to go? That's fine. I am. We're back, episode 126 or 25.
125.
Okay, cool.
Please get that right next time.
Will do. Well, I didn't expect us to get right into this. Usually we have a little pre-production meeting. But here we are. So I guess this is it. We're live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. What's going on?
Not much. Just almost the end of the week. And here we are at episode 125 times we put these headsets on. It's pretty crazy.
That is kind of crazy. It's actually a few more I realized the other day because I think we had a couple that we like split into two parts, maybe a couple bonuses here and there. So I think we're actually upwards of like 5,000 if you really go.
I think that is right.
So not too bad for a couple of newbies, huh?
Yeah, not bad at all.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
That's the show.
No, I don't know. Where do you want to start? Let's start here. So it's Thursday. Patriots football tonight, or depending when you're listening to this. By the time you listen to this, the game definitely will have kicked off. I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, agree. And that's the show.
That's part of the show. I saw both Cam and Mac are going to play, which I mean, obviously I already assumed. I didn't expect Brian Schroder to play 3/4 of a game, but I assume Cam
sucks. Yeah, I think Cam's starting.
Okay. Man, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm rooting for either at this part. I think I've said it before. Like last year, like I didn't mind Cam like just literally fumbling around the field because I knew there wasn't a better option. But now with Mac, at least as an option, it's like, I don't know. Maybe the kid's got some juice.
Do you want to hear some quick numbers on both of them? From
1 in 10
training camp?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So take this like however you will. Cam Newton has completed 103 out of 165 passes.
Hold on real quick before you get into that. So I see these numbers thrown out too. These must just be like on actual like scrimmaged like plays, right? With refs and stuff.
I would think so.
Okay. They're not keeping track of them like playing, like throwing the ball around like before practice.
This isn't like catch with Bill Belichick.
That's what I mean. Cause every quarterback has numbers. Like you could play fantasy like based off like training camp, but
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. No, I do want to hear these numbers. Go ahead.
So yeah, 103 out of 165 with 7 picks and 7 drops in competitive team periods.
And then
it separates it.
Cam?
Huh?
This is Cam and Mac. Okay.
And it says he's also 43 of 78 with 2 picks in 11 on 11 against the starters. So I assume that's the more important one. Yes. And then Mac Jones has completed 124 out of 186, which is a slightly higher percentage than Cam. With 3 picks and 11 drops. And then his numbers against starters is 33 out of 68, which isn't great. And let's see here, 33 out of 68, 1 pick. But it says that I guess he finished training camp stronger. It says he finished 16 of his last 24 passes over the final 4 competitive practices against the starters. So I don't know, up and down for both.
Damn. No, that sounds about right. That's tough. I just thought of this too. I haven't heard this in a while. Where's Steph Gilmore? Is he at camp?
I'm pretty sure he's still injured.
I knew he was holding out. I didn't know he was actually injured. Hold on. I'm getting a text message here. It's from you. Oh, wait. It's a link to all the things you just read to me. So great. What was I gonna say? Going back. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me just look him up really quick. Yeah, he's still
That's
in the
definitely
pup
not
list.
hurt. Really?
Yeah,
I thought he was there just because he was so like, is he not holding out anymore? Now he's here, but just hurt.
So it says he's still on the pup list, but he has been on the conditioning field. He seems to be moving well, at least to the untrained eye. I don't know about you, but both my eyes are definitely untrained.
Same.
Both sides, in terms of contracts, have been very quiet about any discussions, but it just feels like a matter of time until it's resolved.
Oh, boy. He's got a cryptic tweet from 9 hours ago. This is at Bump and Run Gilmore.
He tweeted at you?
The Gilly Lock. Nah, just to his followers, including me. So, yeah, I guess, technically. I'm going to read this verbatim. The Gilly Lock, 9 hours ago. Taking notes daily. 100 emoji.
Oh.
I don't really know what that means, but he tweeted it.
So it could be like, yeah, that was very there's a lot to learn in that practice. We've debuted some new schemes I should study.
Notes. Hundreds of them.
Or it could be taking notes, and trust me, I'm paying attention to how these guys are treating me. And I will seek revenge.
It's like that scene or that gif from The Office, like when Ryan Howard comes back and it's just like quietly like taking notes of everyone in the office. I saw something the other day, not to go too off track, but like Ryan Howard had such a weird like character like development like throughout the show, like the many faces of Ryan Howard.
The many hairstyles.
Yeah.
The frosted tips.
No, who's a great sub character is Vikram, the guy Michael met at his telemarketing job. And then one of the early recruits to Michael Scott Paper Company. Big fan. Yeah.
I remember when he worked at the call center with Vikram.
That's such a good episode.
When the camera sneaks up on Michael and he doesn't realize that they followed him to a second job.
Yeah.
And then it was the boss. It wasn't Vikram, but the boss was like, all right, make the call, say the lines, make the sale.
That's so good, dude. Such a great, like just one random episode plot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that same episode at the end, he's like talking to Vikram and Michael goes off for like a while. And then Vikram's basically like, yeah, maybe if you just spent more time like on your calls, you'd make more sales. But anyway, yeah, that was a good episode. Shout out Vikram.
Why did Michael take that second job again?
I think
what did he need money for?
I think I think that was season 4, like when him and Jan were together after Jan got fired. Because I think that was either one right before or right after the dinner party, like when all like that tension came out about like how poor they are. Another all-time great episode in like any series of television.
And also an all-time TV in any series of television.
I finally broke down and bought a plasma television. Yeah, great scene.
Fucking microwave is bigger than that TV.
What was I did have a point about the game tonight. I forget. Oh yeah, like going to last year, like I was saying, like with Cam last year, it's like, all right, this like obviously this is it, but preseason these games are important this year. This is probably the first like I don't know, like meaningful preseason in like 20 years. You know what I mean? Obviously at the quarterback position, but I think in general, like I think this preseason matters. Before it was like, all right, actually before I didn't want to see like Brady, Gronk, Edelman on the field at all if I had my choice. But even if they're on the field, whatever they do, Brady could throw 10 picks on 10 passes in the preseason. It wouldn't matter. This year, definitely, like I think it's going to be looked at, like they're going to break this down for a week, like weeks by week, like on radio and even just like fans like us and stuff. So I don't know. I think it'd be from like a metric standpoint, it'd be nice if it was just like an even split. Like Cam plays a quarter, Mac plays a quarter. Let fucking Brian Hoyer play the second half. But I don't know. I think eventually, like they'll make a decision this week at camp. I still think Cam will start week 1, but I think a lot of pressure on both of them. I'll put it that way. I can definitely see Cam stinking, and I can see Mac playing well. And if that's the case, I don't know. You got some decisions to make. You personally have some decisions to make.
I do.
Oh, boy. So we'll see. So maybe, I don't know, we might make this one a little shorter than usual because I do want to kind of catch that game. But it was hot out today. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's like 90 degrees today.
Yeah.
It's hot.
That sucks.
You know what I like on a nice hot day?
What's
or
that?
After 5, depending where you're living. A nice cold glass of Cold River vodka and your favorite mixer to mix it with. I'm not a straight vodka type of guy. Never have been. Some are. I assume you aren't either. But make sure you check out our friends at Cold River Vodka. Ironically enough, their social media handles are also at Cold River Vodka on Instagram and Twitter, and www.coldrivervodka.com on the internet. I actually was in old Freeport, Maine earlier this week.
Oh,
by the headquarters, HQ.
Did you say you swam there or you drove there?
Drove in a car.
Gotcha.
And I did go to LLB and verified it is in fact not a giant moose out front. It is a giant boot.
Is it a giant boob?
Boot with a T.
Boot. Gotcha.
There were some giant boobs there, but there was also a much, much larger boot that people were taking pictures in front of. So
some double D boots.
So let's move on here. So game tonight. Speaking of football, maybe a football themed show. I don't know. Hard Knocks debuted. HBO Hard Knocks. Inside look at NFL training camps. Cowboys. Again, I think this is like the third or fourth Cowboys in my lifetime that I've seen.
Yeah.
Thoughts? You said you caught the first episode?
I did. Number one, it was good. And it was nice to watch it with like that's the first time we've seen real fans in the stands in 2 seasons for football.
A lot of jorts, a lot of fades, a lot of Zeke jerseys. But yes, Cowboys fans were out and about.
Yeah, and
Cash Fiend. I think Cash Fiend was there. I think he's an executive producer.
Yeah, I did see him in the credits. I think he's going to be the one making the cuts. Mike McCarthy's kind of delegated that to him.
Yep. Grab your stuff. Grab your playbook. Cash Fiend wants to see you.
Takes place in Oxnard, Texas, which, you ever seen Oxnards?
No, sounds racist.
Oh, I was going to say it sounds sexual.
Oxnards. Yeah, that too. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
A very Texas name either way. Like there's no Oxnard, New Hampshire that I know of.
Sure isn't. And apologies in advance to our Oxnard listeners. New Hampshire, Oxnard, New Hampshire listeners.
Yeah. If we overlooked you, just let us know.
Both of you. Good.
I had some interesting takeaways.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Let's see here. Oh, the first thing, I know that you definitely picked up on this.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the show starts out with Dak looking back at his injury from last year.
Yeah, that's how they all start. Like every season starts with some weird, like serious moment, like panning out. Then you just hear like the music start. Dun, 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 dun. Not a bad and kind of a fire soundtrack. But yeah, so it starts with Dak.
Yeah, you see like a close up of his scar.
Also, real quick, pretty much like openly admitting to like injury report fraud. He's like, yeah, I actually had 2 surgeries. Kept that kind of on the low down.
Oh, right.
Dun, 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 dun. Like just goes into like the opening.
No, I was just thinking back to apparently Dak went to the same medical school as Tony Romo, because at one point he's like, yeah, I looked down or before I looked down, I thought that I just rolled my ankle. And I looked down and it was a little worse than that.
I noticed it was a problem when I realized I couldn't put it back because it was on the opposite side of my fucking leg. But yeah, I picked up on that too. I meant to mention or reminisce on the Tony Romo quote. That's so funny. It doesn't seem like that long ago. That was like about a year ago, I guess, at this point, a little more than a year ago. That was so good. What was the actual thing he said? A rolled ankle or a sprained ankle?
It was something like that.
I thought it was even less than that. It was like
right before they went to the commercial break. So like when you leave it on that, you sound even more stupid. If you can correct it 5 seconds later, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
But he was just like, yeah, Jim, it's a 17-10 game going in the second quarter and not looking great for the Cowboys. Looks like Dak may have rolled his ankle.
You might have to take a play or 2 off. Don't worry, Cowboys fans. We'll be back. Here's a word from our sponsors at 60. Here's a 60 minutes ad.
Well, yeah, we're playing through the break on this one, but
yeah. Here's a preview of our sit down with Donald Rumsfeld on 60 Minutes. We'll be back in a minute with Dak. Yeah, that was tough. That was bad. I haven't seen that injury since then. That was really bad. Those injuries are so weird because it's like they just seem so casual. Like when players literally just tear their ACLs, they just sit down like, geez, come on. I'll need some help with this one. Mm-hmm. It's not like an agonizing injury from what I can tell. I don't know. But yeah, good pickup. I heard, I caught that too.
On the surface, it reminded me of the Gordon Hayward one. But the fact that Dak has already, I'm sure that Dak's going to come back from this injury far better than Gordon Hayward ever came back from his with the Celtics. in a not much shorter time, but in a shorter time, in a more physical sport.
When did Hayward come back? Was he back opening night the next season?
Yeah.
I think so, right? Yep. Yeah. But that was literally within 5 minutes of the opening game for that season. So he missed literally a full year.
Yeah.
Because there was like no possibility of him coming back that year, right? That was like just that's the thing about basketball. Like that was just off the table. Like Kevin Durant's injury in the finals, like yeah, he's out next year. Like no questions asked. He's out for at least 12 months.
Yeah, and Gordon Hayward had the benefit of, I mean, not to like compare these two, but he had the benefit of also sitting out. I mean, I'd have to go back and look, but he obviously didn't play nearly every game in the season that he came back. And Dak's definitely going to play all 17 games this season. So
yeah, he looks ready to go. Yeah, I'd say what I've seen, like most, not that this is the perfect like gauge for it, but most like fantasy projection things have him as like the third or fourth quarterback, which he was on pace for last year. He was on my team. So that's probably good. I think he'll be fine this year, but I know what you mean. It is crazy. Like the difference between preparation to come back. Like you're getting rushed back on the field in a sport where you could literally do the same thing on one play.
Yeah.
It's like Adrian Peterson. Remember Adrian Peterson's injury? He came back in like 8 months and then proceeded to like break the all-time rushing record, I think. and like just enjoyed his offseason. But yeah, different breeds.
Jerry Jones he looks like Prince Philip on his
deathbed for sure now. Prince Philip Jr. Yeah, he looks like a walking corpse. He just wants to win it. I swear, if they win the Super Bowl, he's just gonna croak at the podium. I think that's the only hope. Like that's his only hope staying alive. It's like people in like the hospital getting like IVs pumped through their veins to keep them alive. It's like a bag of just like a potential Super Bowl trophy being like pumped into his veins to keep him alive.
It's either that or that man, his heart has been able to withstand quite a bit of cocaine in his time. Allegedly.
I was going to say like some tough losses, but yeah, cocaine too, for sure. That's on the menu too. Big time.
Would you say that he also, I feel like he looked about 70 or 75 for the last 20 years.
I was just going to Google how old he is. I don't really know. Do you know that off the top of your head?
No, I would guess he's in his 80s.
I was going to say he seems younger than I thought. 78.
Okay.
Oh, boy, he is a tough 78.
I feel like he aged quite a bit in the last like year or two, which is funny because like when they first showed him in the show, remember he was giving that weird ass speech and he started tearing up.
Yeah,
and he was
weird.
Like,
he gives weird speeches.
The narrator was like, and as you can see, Jerry Jones under the weight of the same things that the rest of us have suffered for the past 18 months. Oh
God, that's the first thing I wrote down.
What are you talking about?
The exact quote was like Jerry. Yeah, it was like Jerry Jones. It's been a tough 18 months for Jerry Jones. like blah, like yeah, you're on a team with no expectations because your quarterback is out, and you're also a billionaire. And I think he was probably one of the first guys. He was definitely the guy like at Roger Goodell's door demanding, like, I understand COVID restrictions, but I need to know down to the seat as many people as I can get into Jerry World. Paying full price for tickets. They were I remember they were like the first stadium, I think, to really have noticeable fans. I remember.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I feel like they bumped it up to like 20 or 25,000.
Yeah, those games looked like full houses. So yeah, thoughts and prayers. It was a tough year for the Jones family.
They do that while he's giving a weird speech. He was tearing up. He was crying. Yeah. He's getting emotional at a podium that it looked like he was addressing. I know he was addressing the media, but it was also just like the first time probably really addressing the fans for the season and being like, all right, like we're moving on to this year. Yeah. And he said something like, ever since I've been here, I've wanted nothing more than a championship. And I want it just as badly now as I did back then.
Been a while.
And then he started fucking getting emotional, and they made it sound like the fucking Dallas Cowboys were a small business that struggled last year.
Yeah, no shit. Fucking
like they needed a bailout loan to keep going.
Yeah, it's like when the Lakers were the first team to claim like the small business loan when COVID hit last year. Like I guarantee he made $1 billion last year profit. There's no way he didn't. One way or the other.
In like the very next cutscene, they actually said too, they were like, Jerry Jones in his well, he's been with the team, or it's been 26 years since he last won a Super Bowl. But in the time that he's had the team, they're now the richest NFL franchise. So I don't know what point they were trying to make, but I feel like they kind of got their wires crossed.
Yeah, I agree. He won the 2014 NFL Executive of the Year. That was the only one he's won. I don't remember a noteworthy. It's like that's the thing. Like the Cowboys are always relevant. Like they're America's team, whatever you want to call them. Like they'll have at least 8 or 10 games on Fox, prime slot every year. They're just never terribly good. I remember last time they were like not even a favorite to win the Super Bowl, just like a threat. Like no one's ever been like, oh, I hope we don't. That's a team you don't want to see in the playoffs. Like, no, you very much want to see the Cowboys in the playoffs. That's like a victory. I'd love to see the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
as would Cowboys fans, but like as another opposing team, I don't know. I mean, I think they have a good. And again, I meant to bring this up too. I feel like every year there's like that Hard Knocks, like I don't know how to word like Hard Knocks bias. Like, oh, like this, they look good this year. Mm-hmm. Well, yes, because they're the only team you're actually watching like practice every day, and it's an edited cable television program.
Yeah,
But that being said, I didn't think they looked pretty good this year based off one episode of training camp. But yeah, Jerry Jones was good. What else? Sorry, what else did you have on your end from the episode?
I had a question for you about Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is it kind of a wild move that he salts his breakfast sandwich?
That's what I was going to talk to you about, actually.
I thought that was fucking strange.
And not a moderate amount of salt either.
No.
If you noticed, I noticed this. He was salting it pretty hard, and it cut to the next scene. Like, we didn't see him. He was mid-salt when the scene cut. So God knows
it didn't conclude.
That can't be good for him.
He's still probably pouring it right now.
Probably. But a bigger point, and I did see this on Twitter a little bit, I'm pretty sure he was eating a McGriddle. And people were talking about like the low-key excellence of the McGriddle. Do you remember on the old show the breakfast debate with Shawnee O between Dunks and McDonald's?
I vaguely remember. Is there something in particular?
It was one of the more heated debates we had. It was who has the better breakfast food option, and he was heavy like Dunks, and there's not a close second.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the old show, not the current show. But yeah, the McGriddle.
That's why the ratings suffered.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of advertisers, like, I love you guys at Cold River, but you would want nothing to do with the old show. We would have to pay you. We would have to take out a loan to pay you to sponsor the show. Is how terrible it was.
And then we'd both be in debt.
The McGriddle is one of the greatest fast food sandwiches of all time.
Phenomenal.
It's a breakfast sandwich with pancakes.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they're like how syrup's involved. They're like they're marinated in syrup. So shout out McGriddles, shout out salt, shout out high blood pressure.
He probably thought it was Coke, honestly. He thought it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good call. That's why they cut to the next scene. Like,
that's why he had to pour it.
Mr. Jones, that's salt. You're gonna kill yourself.
And then he was like, "Yeah, I know, but we're on TV, so I can't just fucking snort it."
Fair enough.
Let me throw it in my breakfast sandwich.
Actually, I heard on another podcast I listened to that we were talking about earlier this week, that macrodosing podcast on Barstool. They were talking about apparently you can order. It might have changed now. Well, I don't know. Is McDonald's still all day breakfast at most places? I heard it's not anymore.
At my McDonald's, it is not. And I've had a word with Ronald, Mickey D himself.
Right. Well, maybe this was when it was, because it was for a time. Probably a COVID thing for some reason. I don't know why. You can order, if you ask for it at most places, you can get a McDonald's cheeseburger with an egg on it. Like the eggs they make for... yeah. So they all tried to do it, and they found out like they couldn't do it via Uber Eats, but then if you go there, you can, and some you can, and some you can't. So I don't know. I'm just trying to give some publicity to McDonald's. I think it's a great restaurant, and it's great breakfast. Like, it's not fast food like it is fast food breakfast, but don't let it fool you. Like, it is good breakfast.
Yeah,
It is a great feed.
I feel like I at least like don't feel as shitty either when I eat McDonald's compared to eating like a Dunkin' Donuts breakfast. Maybe
Dunkin' Donuts doesn't count. Like that was the. I don't want to go off. That was the argument we had with Sean. It was like, excuse me, Dunkin' Donuts breakfast is just they just heat up like pre-made food.
Yeah.
I can watch McDonald's cook my breakfast, at least the egg. But also, it's like, obviously, I think overall Dunkin' Donuts, well, I don't even know if this is true. I was going to say maybe like the better just morning choice, but Dunkin' Donuts, I think, thrives off convenience. Like I can go there, get my coffee, get a quick sandwich. That's it. Starbucks is probably a better coffee. It costs more for a reason, takes longer to make. McDonald's I don't know how to, I think my argument was like, you go to Dunkin' Donuts to get coffee, but they happen to serve food too if you're hungry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like McDonald's, I'll go there to get a breakfast. Who happens to serve coffee if I want coffee. So I don't know. I'm just going to get frustrated if we go down that path. But Jerry Jones knows what's up, and he's a multi-billionaire, so I'm going to side with him. He could be dead by the time this episode airs, for all I know.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember seeing him after the Hall of Fame game highlights, so he may very well have perished.
I was going to say, if he wants to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, he might want to call it a career pretty soon. That 5-year buffer is going to be tough, unless he's already in. I don't know how it works for owners. No, not yet. Is Jerry Jones a Hall of Famer? He has 3 Super Bowls in like 40 years.
I feel like at a certain point you have to, if that's a rule, like you gotta make an exception if you want to honor him while he's still alive.
Yeah, he might be in like the Forbes Hall of Fame. He's a good businessman. His teams kind of blow. Anyway, so yes, Jerry Jones breakfast, that was good. So that's about like halfway through the episode. I think I did the same things. I don't know if you wrote this down. I do think the Zeke and Dak relationship's pretty funny.
That was pretty cool. I didn't know they were best friends.
I had this thought. I almost tweeted it, but then I figured it wasn't worth it. The NFL is a weird company, and it always comes out during Hard Knocks. You see like the lighthearted end of the spectrum in Hard Knocks. Like you forget like these are kids. Like they're kids in their 20s, like just fucking around, having fun. And then like there's another end of the spectrum where there's legit like double homicide murderers like in the NFL.
Hey, just like my workplace.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's if you let me get to my point, it's like the NFL is just a company like anyone else. So stop putting them on such a pedestal. But yeah, Zeke and Dak is pretty funny. I go back and forth if I like Zeke. Do you like Ezekiel Elliott? Like from a fan's perspective, do you have any feelings on him?
I like him more now after seeing this. I think before I was pretty impartial, but if this is just how he is, I like him.
I do too. And like, I like him. He's a good football player. I've always kind of liked Dak for whatever reason, but yeah, I like Zeke. He's funny. And so their relationship is pretty funny. The other thing I wrote down, did we get to the part about the special teams coach talking about his vasectomy to his players? Was that Jim Fossil's son? Right.
That's what I was wondering too. But I was wondering, is that maybe his brother? Because
that'd probably make more sense. Yeah. Age. Yeah, that makes.
Or maybe it's Jim Fossil's dad.
No, I don't think that one. Because I don't know. Because Jim Fossil looked as old as that guy did 20 years ago in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it could be his son. But yeah, I don't know. That was kind of weird because that's when I was kind of like I wasn't really paying attention. And then I just hear it from like the corner of my eyes. I was just watching on my phone this morning, and I just feel like, yeah, like, you know, they say it doesn't like, they're like, yo, like coach, like I heard it like messes up your libido and your sex drive. And then I just heard him like, oh, no, hell no, like absolutely not, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, are we going over our assignments in cover 2, or are we talking about like your vasectomy? It's very weird. But
yeah, is this
again the spectrum? Like it's all over the place.
Is this the nickel package? Or
so
what?
You want me to do what when it's 3rd and long? You want me to snip who?
Hold on, I got to go after his vast deference.
All right,
dude. Actually,
so who has? Okay, so snip the vast deference, but do I no longer have the back out of the backfield if they go shotgun? Yeah, that's pretty funny.
All right, so 54 is the mic, but is this reversible?
Wait a minute. No. I know the handoff was reversed. I'm going back to the vasectomy. Can I get this reversed?
Yeah. He did go into that too, which was interesting.
Yeah. Another Michael Scott throwback from the dinner party episode. Snip, snap, snip, snap. The only other thing I had. Oh, I did say this. I know it's early, but it is cool to start. I knew this was going to look cool, but this is the first time I really saw it. It is cool to see defensive players wearing like numbers in the teens and like single digits. I think Micah Parsons wore 11. That looks cool. I'm a big fan.
His number and he are both seem pretty cool.
Big fan. Yeah, I like him a lot. Yeah, you got a lot of airtime for a rookie. Yeah. For week 1. There's a little bit of CeeDee Lamb, mostly Dak, mostly Zeke, mostly their special teams coach, mostly Jerry. Oh, and Mike McCarthy. That guy's such a fucking dweeb. I've never liked Mike McCarthy. He looks like a good fit for the Cowboys coach. He looks like the Cowboys coach.
You
like it too.
You trying to have a mojo moment?
Oh boy. That's what it was. I feel like that was so hey, I'm never gonna complain to see like more Austin Powers in my life. That was a great clip.
Yeah.
But eventually that seemed a little I wouldn't be surprised if that was HBO's idea.
Yeah, because how much they were yelling it, and then obviously it wasn't like they were saying it 100 times in the span of 2 actual minutes, but
yeah,
you have to wonder how often they were saying it for them to be able to like smash cut so many instances of it.
You also have to think about how many of your core players were older than 3 years old when Austin Powers came out.
Yeah, when they showed the guys laughing at the scene, I was like, that guy doesn't even know what fucking movie this
Correct. Is. Ezekiel Elliott was like pissing his pants watching the Spy Who Shagged Me clips. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure he was 1 when it came out. That'd be like us at practice and like having a coach like a police academy, a police academy clip on the TV. It's like, yeah, it's pretty funny, but I don't know what the fuck this has to do with our T-bone formation, but whatever.
Are we going back to the vast deference thing, or what is? What
lost.
Are we referencing
you know
here?
I think I'm out. I think early retirement sounding pretty good right now. Yeah, I think I tweeted this earlier. I can see someone like Aaron Rodgers not getting along with Mike McCarthy. Just being like, I really don't have time for this anymore.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, we can watch Austin Powers after practice. I kind of need to win a few more games so I can get the hell out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yeah, that was good. I'm trying to think the only other player is really Dak, Zeke, which I guess makes sense. I'd like to see a little more CeeDee Lamb. People forget he was the one who had the draft day moment with his girlfriend, just like snagging her phone away.
Oh, yes.
That was pretty cool. I'd like to see him like do that live, I guess. I mean, the best part of Hard Knocks every year is like the talent show nights or like when they like imitate people. Have you seen the one? I think it's the Ravens. I see it all the time, but it's like Shannon Sharp and Ray Lewis watching like one of the rookies do an impression of, I think, Ray Lewis.
No, I haven't seen that.
And then I'm pretty sure he's probably murdered like within the next couple hours. But those are usually pretty good. Who do you think's like the Hard Knocks like GOAT? Rex Ryan? Cromartie?
Yeah, I feel like that's the line people remember the most.
Got to be Rex Ryan season. Yeah. I think that's when we were in college, right?
Yep. Senior year. I remember watching that with you.
Great. That was must-watch television. Great season because you knew that team was going to stink.
Mike McCarthy had a couple hard-o lines that I wrote down.
He did. Oh, he did. What do you got? Go for it, please.
He's like, there's 2 things that I value the most in this world: is family and football. They go together. So, and he's building towards a speech about how they got to play for a championship and every game counts. There's only so many games to get to the final stage. And he's like, yeah, and there's Charlie fuck around. He's not here. High school Harry. Yeah, he doesn't fucking
That's the
exist.
other one. I don't know what was the first one? Fuck around,
Charlie
Frank.
Fuck around.
Fuck around. That one makes sense. High school Harry, I don't get.
Yeah, that doesn't imply good or bad.
No, I mean, like, I know plenty of people that went to high school.
Yeah.
Present company included.
Mm-hmm.
You got a friend from high school? He's not here. Fuck around, Charlie. Nowhere to be seen.
Oh, I got one final thing about the Zeke Dak thing. When they were showing like the birthday Zeke had gotten Dak a birthday present.
Yeah.
First of all, I did notice some interesting similarities that they are best friends and they're only born a week apart. And the person who's older got a present from the person who's younger. So just putting that into your head. And then the other part was like what you were saying about how they always try to make those players look like the common folk.
Yeah.
So they'll like have a kind of a joking scene where he's wrapping the present. They're playing some goofy ass like I don't know, like Harlem Globetrotters, fucking sweet Georgia Brown music. And I always think it's funny because it's like, yeah, these guys just like put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you and I.
Just like us.
Yeah. And if they accidentally cut to like, I don't know, Jerry Jones getting a blowjob while that music's playing would be hilarious.
Just like us. Yeah. No, that scene was pretty good. Like, I know this must have come out a couple days ago, probably like Monday or Tuesday, I think. I think it's Tuesdays it comes out.
And it's impressive because they had the Hall of Fame game, which was a week ago.
Yeah, good point. That honestly, that's a good point. That's always the worst part of the episode, like the actual game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a shit about that. But yeah, the Zeke one was good because he's probably like what, like 25, 26 at this point. I mean, I remember being that age last year. And wrapping presents, I would do the same shit. It looks like he just YouTubed how to wrap a present and like watched it. And I do that frequently. If I was Zeke and I signed $100 million extension, I'd probably pay someone to do it. But like you said, man of the people.
Yeah.
Not to mention he wrapped like a $200,000 like Louis Vuitton briefcase or like whatever the fuck it was that he bought Dak. You mentioned too, like Dak. This is really the first time I think we've seen Dak's personality.
Yeah.
Different than I expected.
Voice did not match the face.
No. Where's he from? Is he from Texas? I know he went to A&M.
He's from Texas. I think he's
Oh, no, he did. He went to where'd he go? No, he went to Mississippi State, I think.
He doesn't really have a Southern accent, but I thought he was from the South somewhere.
I think he sounds like much older than he is. He has like a deep, like, adult voice. Mississippi State. Yeah, he's from. Oh, he's from. No, fuck's he from?
Dakota Prescott.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't care where he's from. But yeah, no, it'll be a good season. I think. The Bengals one was good too. I think that was during college with Ocho Cinco. That was a great season. I don't think I really watched the last few. Definitely didn't watch the last year. I think it was the Chargers last year. Buccaneers I didn't watch. I remember kind of watching the Browns season. The Jets season was great. The old Jets season was great. But yeah, like I said, I think it's probably the third. I think it's the third season of the Cowboys since they've opened up. It is nice not to see Jason Garrett anymore. That guy was so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
He's the worst coach in the world.
Just clapping his ass off.
Stinks. He is such a bozo. I remember, and what's funny too is like, remember he went to be the offensive coordinator in the Giants last year. And I think he alluded to it. Like, yeah, like I understand there's stepping stones to get back to a head coaching job, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're still the offensive coordinator for the Giants. And I didn't really hear a lot of buzz about people rushing to hire you. Like, you stink. What else we got? We got a little bit of time. I don't want to get into too many deep dive subjects. What do we got on the docket? Any thoughts on the Schroder move? That stinks, huh? Poor Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't blame him, but in a way, I kind of do. It's like, the other thing I think people forget was that $84 million offer, that wasn't over the summer, right? That was like in the middle of the season. Like they were going to give him an extension, I'm pretty sure. It was back around like the All-Star break.
Oh, was it? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. It was before. Well, maybe that's when it was first announced. I'm sure they didn't like just remove it from him. But yeah, that's tough. Taking a minute. Like I understand sometimes you take pay cuts for better situations, but I don't think I'd take a pay cut for a worse situation. That's a rare one.
And it was a pay cut where he almost cut his entire pay. That's a rare move.
Yeah. Well, he does get to live in Boston as opposed to Los Angeles. And play with Grant Williams as opposed to Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James. And
I did tweet this. I don't know if there's a connection. but he does get to play in Boston. And if people remember, he had that issue with Kyrie where he used a certain word that Kyrie didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any city that fits him best, welcome to Beantown.
Welcome home. Yeah, we'll get the billboard going now.
Fucking,
I do remember what was
Dennis
funny was
Costigan and Schroder.
I remember last year on like when AD and LeBron were both hurt. I'm sure you remember this too, but like anytime the Lakers were on prime time, remember ESPN last year had like the main player from each team.
Oh yeah,
like player X, the other player. It was fucking Schroder for the Lakers games. Like Schroder and Antetokounmpo to meet on the court finally.
Yeah,
Clash
Friday night
Titans.
at 9. Luka and Dennis.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, but also like the other end of that spectrum from a Celtics standpoint, that's an absolute steal. Getting Dennis Schroder for $6 million.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take that all day. Getting Dennis Schroder playing for a contract at $6 million. I'll take that. I just hope we don't give him the contract next year. I don't know. I hope he doesn't play. I hope he plays good enough to warrant a contract. I just hope he doesn't play good enough to warrant us giving him a contract.
Right.
That would kind of stink. Again, I don't think it's a huge needle mover, but it's a good pickup. Point guard depth. We have point guard depth and we have depth at center. I think that's two things right now that are always going to bode well for an NBA team because pretty much I think the 2, 3, and 4 are just so fluid now. It's like whatever. Every lineup I see has Tatum at the 4.
Yeah, small ball.
I guess, but just because Tatum's at the 4, I don't assume that means he's going to match up with Anthony Davis when him and Dwight Howard are on the court. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with it, but
right, that would be Grant Williams' role.
Oh,
and Jabari Parker will go
Lunchables.
On Dwight Howard.
I'm not ready to get in. I'm not ready to look forward to the Celtics season. Let's do this.
Great shooting backcourt, by the way.
40-40 club. Let's do this. We had some TV stuff. I'd rather save. Did you get a chance to look at this article I sent you about 10 people with incredibly bad luck?
I didn't, but let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So in honor of Friday the 13th, which is tomorrow, if you're listening to this tonight, it's tomorrow. If you're listening to it tomorrow, it's today. If you're listening to it Saturday, it's yesterday. I don't want to get into the Friday the 13th movies. I don't want to rip off a segment from another podcaster we compete with. Also, those movies stink. But I picture Friday the 13th as like bad luck. So I did think of another question. We'll run through this list real quick. Some of them are pretty funny, but do you have any like bad luck stories or like any history of just things that have happened to you that you're like, this seems like bad luck?
None off the top of my head. No.
Yeah, me neither. I'm trying to think of like the most unluckiest thing that's happened to me. I mean, never mind. But I'm sure everyone's had like, family members who get sick and God forbid, like they've gotten sick and stuff. That always feels like unlucky. But
I've got one.
Oh, I do too.
Nowhere near as serious.
I just thought of one. No, you go.
All right. Real quick. So
I'm going to sign off. You go.
Okay. So I must have been like 11 or 12. I feel like I told this story once on the show, but basically it was at either the Mall of New Hampshire or Holyoke Mall in Massachusetts. There was a car in the middle of the hallway and it was like, enter this raffle to win the car.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I filled it out. And obviously me being like under 18 at the time, I just entered my mom's information. We got a call like a few weeks later saying that we had won it and that we just had to verify a couple things. And then we didn't get the car, obviously, because you had to be a U.S. citizen. And my mom wasn't like a legalized citizen at the time. She was illegal.
Yeah, that's I get it. It's okay.
It just clicked.
That's unlucky. Yeah, I guess that I was going to say that's not really unlucky, but that's for sure unlucky. You guys won the raffle. It was just a logistics thing.
For a car.
Damn. Okay, but those things come with like multiple strings attached.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you won this car. It's going to be $1,000 a month over the next 6 years plus insurance, but you've won the right to buy this car if you want to.
Yeah, we somehow made the taxes more than the cost of the car would have been. So
right, you actually
going to need it in a lump sum.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. That's pretty good. I just thought of this, and I think it's a friend of mine who listens to the show. So I have a coworker named Zach, and this is so funny. I just thought of this. We had a work trip summer of 2019. We have a my company has a home office in Cincinnati. So we're flying out there. And originally, Zach, I was going to say, give a fake name, but I already said it. So his name's Zach. So Zach was supposed to be on we split, there's 8 of us. So we split up 4 and 4, like carpooling, plane, whatever. So Zach was supposed to originally be on the other team. He came to ours last minute. We buy our tickets. We get in line. I was in front of him in line to like check our tickets. For some reason, I let him go in front of me. I don't remember why. I think I'd like take a phone call or something. So they scanned Zach's ticket, which should have been me. And they say, oh, like, actually, we have one more like first class seat available. Would you like to take it? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. Damn. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of fucked up. Anyway. And then my other friend already upgraded to first class. So they were in first class together while I was in the back. So I'm on this flight just casually watching them get like VIP drinks, like all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I just want to make sure I did the math right. I was like, there's no reason why that wouldn't be me, right? If I didn't like Zach cut in front of me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So free drinks and a free car, pretty comparable scenarios.
Well, hold on. So where you got to sit, were you with another coworker at least?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you said it was 4 of you.
Yeah, we didn't have the other 2. Oh, it might have been 3. Maybe it was, even if it was 4, me and the other person just had our regular seats. One person already bought first class. Gotcha. The other was upgraded to first class, but that upgrade should have been me.
I mean, what was he to do? He would have been holding up the line, and you can't do that in an airport, like waiting for you to get back from the phone call.
Yeah, it's frowned upon. But I don't know if you're listening to this and you've suffered some bad luck. Give us a call.
Would you call those Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th. Yeah. So I'm just going to run through the headlines of these. The first few are pretty stupid. This guy twice bombed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That sucks, but that's just wrong place at the wrong time, buddy. This actually is pretty funny. Of the roughly 283,000 Japanese survivors of the... This isn't funny. I'm sorry. It's not funny. Pearl Harbor jokes aren't funny anymore, right? Or like World War II jokes.
I'm not the one to ask.
That's not funny. Of the from a factual standpoint, roughly 283,000 Japanese survivors of the atomic blast that obliterated the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August of 1945. Tsutomu Yamagachi was in rare company. Only about 10 unlucky souls were witnesses to both bombings, but Yamagachi's was the unluckiest case of them all. In 1945, 29-year-old Yamagachi worked as an engineer for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and was in Hiroshima on August 6th for a business trip. Oh, so totally. One in the same.
Okay.
Stepping off a tram, he was enveloped by a blinding white light. The first atomic weapon ever used in war had detonated just 2 miles away. He survived, but suffered serious burns across his torso. Tough look.
I mean, he survived both. And then so is that really bad luck?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
Well, does it say how much
would you rather be the guy who survived 2 bombings or the guy who just died after the first one?
Right.
So this seems like a very biased right or left wing propaganda piece. Number 8, only person hit by a meteorite. That can't be right. There's only one person who's ever been hit by a meteorite. Sucks for you. Number 7, the best Beatles drummer. I remember this story from music class in middle school. You know who Pete Best is?
No.
You never heard that name? Mm-mm. He was the original drummer for the Beatles. but he like quit the band like a week before because I thought they were going to be a bunch of losers. And then Ringo joined and was able to live a life as a drummer of the Beatles.
Did they go on to be successful?
Arguably.
Band you speak of?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Check them out. They're on Spotify.
All right.
I think they were on Call Me If You Get Lost. I think they had a feature. Lost 5 homes and 5 hurricanes. That blows. No pun intended.
Damn.
Yeah. This one's good. 3 vacations, 3 terrorist attacks. That's poor luck.
That's bad luck.
That's bad play. That's like wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Everything aligning, bad luck.
That's
that like
Friday the 13th vibes where it's like scary, creepy. Like, are you cursed?
Yeah. That's like we're going to visit the towers on the 11th of September. We're going to check out the boats on December 7th. And then we're going to go to Oklahoma City for a quick long weekend, whenever the hell that Oklahoma bombing was. Tough one. Only a villager who didn't buy a winning lottery ticket. That's the only reason I buy lottery tickets, like group lottery. Like when people, you ever do that at work? That's a good old back in the office type of thing. Like, let's all split a lottery ticket. I'll never say no to that. You're a fool if you do. I don't care how much it costs. You never want to be that guy. This is that guy.
They referred to him as a villager?
Yeah, so he must have lived in a village, or he was one of the Village People. Another successful band from a little before our time.
I feel like you call someone a villager if they live in like a, well, yes, number one, a village, but I don't know, the fucking 1700s.
The owner, this was actually Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. It's the only villager who didn't win a buying lottery ticket. The owner of the bar that sold the largest number of winning tickets for the Spanish lottery, El Gordo, celebrates with clients in 2010 in Pareja, Spain. In 2011, the whole town of Schröder won the lottery, except for one man who didn't play. With that information, it's kind of, if your whole town plays, you can't be missing out on that much money.
Right.
But you also probably shouldn't be the one guy who doesn't help out.
But also, how much money would all those people have had to give
like
up
$2
to make it like, okay, we'll give him his share?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, this is interesting. So every Christmas in the small Spanish farming town of Sodeto, the Homemakers Association goes door to door selling lottery tickets as a fundraiser for community events, also known as money laundering for the cartel. That was my note. That wasn't in the article. In Spain, the special Christmas lottery is called El Gordo, the fat one, because it delivers the single biggest payday of the year. It's one of the world's oldest continuous lotteries, first held in 1812. Oh, damn. Never mind. The 2011 jackpot was up to $950 million. Even so, some residents of Sodeto were reluctant to spring for the $26 ticket. So how much did they fucking win? 130 grand. Each family walked away with about 130. Yeah, that stinks. But that's not life-changing money. Maybe it is in a small town in Spain. Anyway. Number 1, it just says 7 brushes with death. Have you ever had a near-death experience? I think we've talked about this before.
I think a long time ago, I was on the correct side of the highway, and there was a fairly big truck driver on the wrong side of the highway. That was weird.
In his truck?
Yes.
Wow,
driving it, as scary. A matter of fact.
Damn. Talk about
it was a good distance away, but that's also that's scary to see.
For sure. Have you seen the Final Destination movies?
I haven't.
Oh, you'd like them. They're terrible, but the deaths are pretty good. You've heard of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty good. I enjoy them. There's some good. Those are like bad luck, like deaths. That's actually something they were talking about on that macrodosing podcast last episode. If you could, would you, like, if you could find out when you were going to die, would you want to know? Tough, right? I say no.
Yeah.
But there's some good arguments. Like, there's still some pros. PFT was like, yes, because I can like plan around it.
That's true.
But it could be incredibly depressing. he's like also they're saying like I'd rather have it be like a date when I'm like in my 80s or 90s, which I'll take as a win anyway, or like in a week, as opposed to like 10 or 15 years from now, where it's like you're just going to sit around like looking at the calendar. Like it's kind of far away. I can still enjoy myself, but like I'm never going to be able to stop thinking about this.
Right.
Like that would be like, I think, more miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be torture to know that. Yeah. I'm good.
Took kind of a dark path. It's 8:00 now. We're a half hour into the game. Do you have the game on? Or have you followed any stats?
Do you?
All right. No, I almost did. But I don't think I want to. Predictions. We're a half hour into it. So I think it's safe to assume we're probably a quarter in. Yeah. Maybe a little less than a quarter in. Cam's stat line. Do you think he's throwing a pick? He might only play like a series. I really have no idea what they're going to do. This has never been like a conversation.
Right.
Like, how do we strategize for a preseason game? It's like you put in Brady because probably the people at ABC say, hey, you need to at least get Brady on the field. And then you just fucking play Julian Edelman at quarterback and Ryan Mallett for 3 quarters. And no one gives Ryan Mallett and James Devlin for 3 quarters.
It's always funny too that these games, they never put them on like national TV. They put them on like here it's channel 4
WBZ,
but it's like WB, so it's like Bob LaBelle and Steve
Al Caprillion and
Al Roker for some reason commentating.
Oh boy. Oh, I looked. 6:40. They're still like halfway through the first quarter.
Oh, okay. Is there a score?
No.
Okay.
Of course not.
Let me guess.
0. I forgot who the opposing quarterback was tonight.
Is it Fitzmagic?
Yeah. And his stat line is far exceeding Cam's.
Damn it.
Fitzpatrick 5 for 8, 58 yards. Cam Newton 2 for 4, 27 yards. I'll actually take that. That's not bad.
Yeah. That's 13 and a half yards.
Damn, actually, the boys are playing. The boys are buzzing. Juju Smith just had a catch. Jacoby Myers, 1 catch, 11 yards. Kyle Duggar has 3 tackles. I don't know. I'm excited for this season. I'm optimistic. I think they're going to be good. I really don't think I'm not as concerned about the quarterback. I I understand the Patriots quarterback is a big like radio topic. You can probably talk about you can probably get a year's worth of content out of. I genuinely don't think it matters. I really don't think the difference between the two can possibly be that different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know this isn't a high bar, but I don't think Cam can be worse than last year. And I honestly don't think he can be equal to he has to be better than last year. I think that's inevitable. And then Mac Jones, I don't see him. If Mac Jones gets the starting job for the majority of the year, then he's probably like good enough to be in like rookie of the year conversation. Like you have to be really good, I think, to get the starting job this year. Mm-hmm. So I'm not too worried about it. I think their defense is solid. I hope Stephon Gilmore's taking good notes, and I hope somehow that translates to like good coverage on the field. But I don't think the division is. I think Buffalo is very good. I think the Jets could go 2-15, and Miami, I don't know. So I can comfortably say I see them as a playoff team. And I think they might play for the division. I think Buffalo's the better team, but I think it'll be a division race going into the last 2 games of the year, unlike last year.
Okay.
I don't know which one I want more, to be honest. Last year was so fun, like on this show. I really enjoyed talking Patriots last year because it's like I remember one game I remember specifically. You remember I think it was the second Buffalo game, the one they could have won, and then Cam fumbled it in the red zone.
Yep.
I was like, I'd really like to win this game, but I can't wait to talk about this tonight. Like, this was so funny. And so, like, I remember that I think we both said verbatim, like, out of all the things that could have happened on that possession, that was by far the worst case scenario. And talking about bad luck, like, that's exactly what happened.
Remember the play call against Seattle to end the game?
Sort of. Was that the quarterback dive?
Yeah.
Yeah, not great.
Or Or it looked almost like he had an option, but it was from the 1 or the 2 yard line. So
weird
then
play.
he immediately got like stuffed.
There were a lot of those. Yeah. Like triple options on like 1st and goal from the 2, which was like a net -7.
Yeah. They had to bust out like the last pages of the playbook in the first game of the year.
Yeah, that was like McDaniels eventually just going to like random in Madden and being like, I don't know. Or like ask Madden. Ask Madden and doing the opposite. Ask the other guy. Ask Pat Summerall doing what he suggests.
I don't know, Cam. Just fucking hit X.
Just Jake, warm up. We might have to punt from the 2. See if you can cough and corner him. I just thought about something. Do you ever think that'd be a viable strategy? Instead of kicking a field goal at the 2, just like taking a knee on 4th down and like pinning your opponent?
And then trying to get a safety?
I don't know. Or just trying to get like good field position. Because if you make the field goal, great, you get 3 points, but now you give the opponent a much better chance at 7 points.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad call.
Well, you heard it here first. If anyone's going to do it, it would have been the 2020 Patriots.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know. Anything else from you before we sign off? Or real quick, we can go. So looking forward, I know we want to talk still a lot of TV on the table we can talk.
Yep. I got a good list for the Netflix versus HBO.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one because I did finish. It looks like you are dipped into season 2 of Barry already.
Just barely.
Toes. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that as well. The other day I just threw on Ozark for the hell of it and like binge season 1 in a weekend. Like Ozark is so good. I forgot how good season 1. A lot of things that happened in season 1 I thought happened later in the show, but they didn't. Season 1 is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking good. Know who's a great character who I really thought was in season 2 or 3? Do you remember the character Garcia? He was the one Dell sent to like just sit outside their house. He was like the hitman who just basically sat out their house. He's the one at the end who like tried to kill. Remember? So Jonah had Tucker buy that gun at like the rifle store.
Yep.
And then he came in the house and Jonah tried to kill him, but Buddy took like the bullets out. And then Buddy came up the stairs and like shot him. Dude, that guy is a great character. Yep. He is so scary. That's the one where like he pulls in, and I remember this from the trailer. He pulls in, tells Rachel there's like a delivery for Marty, which is like the $50 million in cash. And then Rachel leaves and Jonah's looking at him and he has like the gun in the front seat, just like gives him the nod, like with the gun and like puts it down. That show is so good. Yep. We'll save this for later, but like, I can't think of many other shows that are better than that one. And I think they are ending at season 4, right? Is that the last season?
Yeah. Aren't they splitting it into 2?
Maybe, but I'm fine with that. My biggest fear is like stretching that show too long. Like if they end it season like 4, maybe one more, I'm okay with that. So yeah, we got Barry coming up. We can talk some Netflix versus HBO. I think is a very valid conversation. Hard Knocks will be a weekly thing. And and then also, I think we teased this on social, but we'll get into our top 20 lists as well. So I think the first one we wanted to do was the top 20 NBA players since the 2000 draft, which I think will be good because first of all, it eliminates like the Jordan LeBron discussion, which since we brought that up last week or so, I've noticed more and more people are talking about that.
Oh, it's gotten picked up.
For sure. So maybe that'll be next week. Gonna have some new guests on soon. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Baseball wrapping up.
Mm-hmm.
Another really fun Red Sox game today. I don't know if you saw the final.
I did.
Oh boy. And then what else? Did you see the real quick, did you see the Jenny Taft Skip Bayless clip?
Yep.
Boy, that was tough.
Not a great look for Skip.
We joked offline about Jerry Jones having like just it's inevitable he's gonna have like some sort of racial like slip up. Maybe not so much like a Donald Sterling thing, but something problematic. It's just a numbers game. We talked about it with Sister Jean. Like you live that many years, we're going to find something. Skip Bayless is close, but I think Skip Bayless might be more on like the women's side. Like he's gonna drop a bitch or like things were better in 1920 when this was a real country.
I can definitely see it.
You've seen like some other people have come out of the woodwork. Carrie Champion had a good tweet.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Mike Hill. Did you see that one?
Oh, really?
Mike Hill,
I remember him from ESPN back in the day.
Let me pull it real quick. It's good. We'll end here. I promise. Not that anyone's listening.
I saw Jamel Hill tweeted and was like, yeah, a certain friend of mine used to have to deal with this on a daily basis. And then she did though.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
And I assume she was talking about Carrie Champion.
That's what I would assume. Yeah. Mike Hill. But Mike Hill works for Fox currently.
Oh, shit.
That's what I didn't know that he said. Like, this is all in-house. Hold on. Let me find it. Like, here it is. Here we go. All right. Mike Hill. Been there with Skip before when I moderated First Take a while back. We almost came to blows because I told him he would never talk down to me, ... Ever. He's wrong, period. Exclamation point. His opinion isn't the only one that matters. Good for JT for standing her ground. And yes, I still work at Fox, but wrong is wrong.
Damn.
It'd be a tough day at Fox Sports Cafeteria yesterday or whenever this was. My biggest thing was like what happened after commercial break. Like I didn't see any, like, how did they come back from that? Because it's been quiet since. So I don't know, whatever.
Shannon was laughing his ass off.
Yeah, Shannon. I think Shannon has like tenure. Like he's good. He can do whatever he wants.
Uncle Shay Shay.
Yeah. All right, last thing I promise. I've been thinking about this lately too. Do you think Fox News and Fox Sports have like any connection? Because I feel like they couldn't be further apart politically.
Right.
Like, aren't you technically like the same umbrella?
That is weird to me too.
Isn't it weird?
I've wondered that. Yeah.
Because like Fox Sports will have something, and I'm not saying one way or the other. Well, actually, yeah, like fuck Fox News. But like Fox Sports will have a thing. Like we had Joy on. Obviously, I was going to bring it up then. But like Joy, Colin, Shannon, whoever, like they seem pretty liberal towards like social justice issues and COVID and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then literally the same company, possibly in a studio like right next door, you have other guys on the other side. And it is weird. And the one that really like Clay Travis was on Fox Sports Radio. He had outkicked the coverage in the mornings. Now, rightfully so, he probably had a quarterly check-in and they said, I think you might be better in a different department. We have a horizontal move we want to position you with. And now he's on Fox News. I've always thought that's kind of weird. Like ESPN is ESPN. Or even like bigger, it's not like ESPN, Disney, I don't know, Marvel, like whoever else is under that umbrella. I think they're all pretty, they seem to align pretty commonly. Fox News and Fox Sports are like two different ball games. I don't know. I just found it interesting.
Yeah, no, I've always thought that was weird too. Like
they must all know each other. Like there has to be one, I don't know if they're same studio or whatever. I don't know. We'll have
you should get Jenny Taft on the show.
Tucker Carlson on to explain how it works. Jenny Taft would be a good one. Yeah, for sure.
I'll hit her up. Probably won't hear back, but fuck it.
No, probably get blocked, but yeah. All right, let's go watch some Cam Newton.
Sounds good.
See you guys next time. Peace.